has 200 meter of rope and they want to fence a swimming area just using 3 sides, right? So, and then we're trying to find the greatest area that they can rope. So what kind of question is this? What is the question? What is it asking you to do?
It's asking you to find.
Not a regular area, it's a maximum.
Surface area?
It's a maximum area. So that's an optimization question, right? Because it's asking for the maximum area, so that's an optimization question. Now, is it a regular optimization question or is it an optimization question with restriction?
It's a
With restriction.
With restriction,
You don't
right?
have the top, only
You
three
don't
sides.
have the third side. So basically you have this, right? And you have 2, you wanna call them width, and 1 length, right? So in this case, I know the perimeter, which is 200 meter, the perimeter. So what would be the formula for my perimeter, for this
So
perimeter?
the formula,
Yeah, 2W plus L, that's good. So the formula for this specific one is 2W plus L because I'm only using the 3 sides. Now, I'm looking for the area. What's the area for this one?
L squared.
What's the area for this one?
Oh, 4L.
Length times 4. All right, now, the perimeter is given to me, right? So I'm gonna start with the perimeter formula because that's the one that's given to me, right? And then I'm gonna replace P with 200, right? So I know 200 equals to 2W plus L, right? Now, I have a choice of either setting L up and then finding W, or the other way around. Okay, so it's up to you in this case because we have basically, we can isolate for both. Okay, so what do you guys want to isolate for? The easier one to isolate for is L actually, because then you can move right away the 2W over, but you can also isolate for W, it doesn't matter. Okay? It's gonna be exactly the same. So I'm gonna isolate for L because that's the easier one to isolate for. It's only one move, so I'm gonna have to divide by 2W. So it's gonna be 200 over 2W equals to L. Yeah? Sorry, I made a mistake. What's the mistake?
It's 2W.
What's the mistake? I don't
No,
know.
hold on.
What should I do? That's right, minus 2W, right? Because we're adding instead of subtracting. So it's 200 minus 2W equals to L. Yeah? Because it's 2W plus L, so when you move it over, it becomes subtraction. Good. So, so this is the formula that I'm going to use. I'm gonna plug in values for W, solve for L. Okay? So in this case, you're gonna have to make a table of value, and then the table of value should have W to start with because these are the ones that I'm plugging in. I'm solving for L, and then I'm gonna have to solve for the area. So, what values do you want to plug in for W?
1.
You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So these are the values you can plug in. You can plug in, you don't want to plug in too many. If you start with small numbers, it's going to be a little bit weird, but let's do that. So let's start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's see how it is. So if I'm plugging 1 for W, then what would be my length? 198. And what would be your area? 198 times 1, which is 198. right? Because the area is length times width. How about if W is 2?
196.
And what would be the area?
392.
And then you're gonna keep going until you reach an area where you're starting to become, so you're gonna keep going up with the area until you reach one where you're gonna start going down and then you can stop. Okay, so you might have to go like, I don't know how many down, right? But once you reach an area, a maximum area, right? How do you know that you reach the maximum area? Is the area after this number, so let's say this number is 1,200, right? And then the one after it is like 1,190. So now you know that this is your maximum area, so you can stop. But you have to at least reach one that's lower than the previous one. Then you can stop. Okay? So you're gonna keep going. Do you guys want me to keep going or you're okay?
No, that's one of the questions I had for, that's the,
So, this is one of the questions, so this is question number 13, I think, yeah?
could we try 12?
Just give me, I just want to say something before I forget. So this question is, you need to be able to set it up. If you don't know how to set it up, you're not going to be able to solve for it, right? And the setup is, you see the questions that I ask myself? Okay, what do I have? This is the first question I ask myself, what kind of question is this? It's an optimization question. So that means I know I have to go to the optimization, okay? Now, do I have restriction? Because we have two types of optimization. We have the optimization with the restriction and the optimization without restriction. So if that was without restriction, that would have been an easy question. Because then it would be a square, done. Use the perimeter, solve for the length, then find the area. Easy, right? Because it's a square. But because it's not without restriction, it's with restriction, then it's going to become a longer process. I have to find the formula for the perimeter, right? Which is not the regular formula, right? I had to actually put it, right? I have to come up with the area and I have to isolate. So it's kind of a longer process. Okay?
So with regards to number 12, what would be the significant difference between 12 and 13? Because I started the same process where I came up with the
It's the same.
number, but how do you tell the difference?
So what is given to you in this case?
Area.
The area. So what is the difference is that you're starting with the area formula. So instead of starting with so you have the same picture, right? And then you have W and you have L, right? But instead of starting with the perimeter, I'm going to start with the area, which is length times width. I know the area, which is 60, right? I'm gonna isolate for one of the letters. Doesn't matter which one you isolate for. Right? Now you can plug in values for L to solve for W. Then you're going to use the perimeter to find your perimeter. So now your table is going to be set up like this with length, because that's the one that I happen to isolate for, W, and then in this case you're going to have the perimeter. Now, can I plug in any value for L?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be divisible by 60 if I want whole numbers. Okay? So to solve for 12a, it has to be whole numbers. I wouldn't ask you anything to do with decimals. Okay? Because otherwise it's going to be a whole new process. Not new, but I mean more complicated process. So the values that I'm going to plug in right here, they're going to have to be divisible by, you should be able to divide 60 by them. So they should be factors of 60. So I can plug in 1, I can plug in 2, I can plug in 3. 60 divided by 4 is what? 15, so I can do 4. I can do 5. I can do 6. Can I do 7?
No.
No. So I have to skip 7.
Okay.
Can I do 8?
No.
So 9?
No.
No. 10, right? So you see that I'm picking my values. for L in this case. In the previous case with the perimeter, I can choose anything because it's just subtraction. There was no division. In this case, it's different because it's division. Okay? So the difference between this question and the question before is your starting point, because you're starting with the formula for the area, right? That you have to rearrange, and you have to set up your equation a little bit. Okay? Are we okay with this? And this is the same case of, you're gonna find your W, so I'm gonna do 60 divided by 1, so that's gonna be 60, so my W is 60. To find the perimeter, I'm gonna do 2 times W, which is 2 times 60, plus 1, so that's gonna be 121. Make sure you always include unit for a centimeter. No. Yeah. And then when you're doing this, right, you're gonna see that your perimeter is gonna get smaller and smaller until you get to the smallest perimeter, right? So let's see. If I have the second one, so 60 divided by 2 is 30. 2 times 30 plus 2, that's going to be 62. So you see that your perimeter is going to keep going down. Once you reach a perimeter that's coming to get higher, then you're going to stop because you've reached your minimum perimeter. Does it make sense? And you listen to my video again, and then hopefully it will stick. Okay, any other questions? Don't tell me that lots of questions. 9 is a 3D process though. You want me to do that? Page 111. This question I get asked to do every single semester, so I'm not surprised. And that's why I said don't tell me it's 9. Page 111. So it's that box.
I think I got it, but
Mm-hmm.
I think I got it, but.
So you guys want me to do it or
Yeah,
not?
please.
Or you want to try it first and maybe I can take it up tomorrow?
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay? I'll just give you a chance. I want you to try it out. I want you to try it out. So make sure that you try out question on page 111.
Yeah.
Number